Ganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Matre Namaha. Today I am going to discuss the topic wisdom teachings. It's not an easiest subject. So I made two parts. Now I am taking first part wisdom teachings after the prayer. Namaste Sarvalokesha Sarvakartre Namo Namaha Namasvabhava Shuddhaya Namaste Yajna Sukara. Simply open your heart and feel this message. Don't try to analyze it with the information contained in your brain. Theme for this message is to answer two questions. Number one, does every soul on earth have guides, a guardian, angel, or celestial advisor? Number two, how do I go about contacting them or hearing their advice? Now the answer is, to the first question is a resounding yes, and to the second that it's easier than you think. The crucial issue in understanding the way guides may assist you is to be aware of the way you choose to interact with them. Back home, before you entered your current body, a group of 12 advisors helped you decide exactly what it was that you wanted to experience in this particular life. Together you reviewed those lessons you had not yet learned or completed, which you wished to incorporate into your wisdom. You visualized how it would best serve you to undertake these lessons, and you decided with whom you needed to have contracts to ensure that you would be confronted with situations needed for each lesson. Once you had finalized your plan, having chosen the type of environment you need, including the time of your birth, your parents, siblings, health status, and so on, you finally entered into your chosen body and began your learning process. With all these well laid plans, the only problem for you was that you came down to earth with amnesia and now have no idea why you are here. Before embarking upon your journey, you chose and agreed with other souls to have them available to assist you. Your selection of advisors, guardian angels, and guides may be constant throughout your lifetime, but it's more likely that you selected various experts to accompany you into new areas of learning. Even with all these arrangements in place, the fact is that you are now physical, while the guides remain energetic, which means they cannot assist you as planned unless you actually request their help while you remain in physical form. For them to intervene in your life just because you had arranged for their assistance before you came into a body is insufficient. In physical form, as at all times, we all have freedom of choice to change our mind. So now you find yourself in a pickle and can't decide what to do about this doozy of a lesson that is facing you. You have consulted all your friends, prayed for outside intervention, and now you think of them. Those possibly mythical guardian angels and guides are supposed to help you out, but you don't know how to contact them. What can you do? The answer is to ask for our assistance with the clear understanding that because we cannot interfere with your freedom of choice, we cannot tell you exactly what you should do. We can support you and we can let you see both the benefits of the pathway you are currently traveling and alternatives that are open to you. An endless plan. How? If a house is to be built, the builders need a plan. The engineers and mansions can put up the structure only according to a finalized blueprint that was previously created by the architect. The person who draws the plan first builds it in the empty space of his mind according to the idea of the customers without the intent of the original idea. No building can be created. There is also a plan for the creation. It exists for the entire universe. There are intelligences, devas, who works as architects, and others who develop the plan and give shape to it before the builders become active. The activity is conducted in accordance with the schedule. Each time a creation arises, it is an expression of God's pure love to give the beings an opportunity for development. The divine plan would thus enable fulfillment of all beings who have not achieved their goal in an earlier creation. As long as this goal is not achieved, their goal is an earlier creation. As long as this life takes place after the other, so long the universe after the universe is created until all beings have realized that they are images of God. This is an endless plan. The plan of creation is for all, not just for a special solar system or a special globe like the earth. In this grand plan, the appearance of man on earth is only a very small part receiving the plan. The divine plan can only be received via the soul, not as a personality. The soul can come into contact with the super soul. The descent is from Atma via Buddhi to Manas. The plan is thus passed on from the spirit to the soul and from the soul to the disciple. The masters have the ability to receive the vision of the higher plan and to ensure that the light can come down to the mental matter. They receive the plan in complete silence and work without talking much about it. Because much talk leads to a lack of alignment. We usually try to adopt the plan of the soul to the comfort of personality. We are often busy with other things than the objectives of the soul, and we interpret the impulses of the soul, and we take the soul according to our own goals and motives. It is a part of the essence of the personality to keep on deviating from the plan of the soul. Many also want to work for the plan, but they cannot because they do not live in the presence of God. Many people who read spiritual books would like to manifest the plan of the hierarchy and spread the knowledge about the masters. They dreamed about the hierarchy and Shambhala, but they cannot even manifest their own plan and still less the divine plan. The path to the hierarchy is to serve the world. Reading about it looks so nice, but when it comes to action, most people are concerned with personal growth and with personal health or finances. To realize the divine plan, we do not need books. They mostly confuse us. People coming from normal life can work better for the plan. As long as we are in Venus, the plan flows through us, but when we are busy in mind, we are an obstruction to the plan. No program can be received on television when the channel is not set correctly. Now, question: how can we realize the plan and know that it is the divine plan? How can we adjust to it and then work for it? Answer: with introspection, we can have a kind of dialogue between the personality and the soul. This will remind us what we should have done and what we did instead. The plan is received in silence. Through the voice of silence, we develop sensitivity towards the plan and realign the personality this way. It is highly recommended to connect with the plan through a prayer before falling asleep. To get impressed with the plan is a process of perception or impregnation. Some receive the impression as a vision, others in the form of a sounds, or sometimes both. Spiritual perception is another name for institution. One of the main conditions we need to cultivate in order to perceive the plan is to be alone. The divine self can speak to us in solitude. In this silence, the master can approach the soul and impress it with knowledge. He can also inform us about the work plan, provided we are silent enough to receive it. Now, plan and karma. If we do not wait but feel that we must do something, we create more karma as long as we do not use discrimination. Discrimination is particularly important for proactive people. The masters do not propose independently a scheme of action or restrict the aspirants of their plans or instigate them into any act. According to the stimulation of the qualities of Rajas, the proposals emerge from the aspirants. If we stop continuing to make any proposals, the plan comes to us every day in the form of our duties and responsibilities. If we act dispassionately according to this plan, the plan conducts itself through us. Ignorant of the crafty work of nature, people think that they are working out their individual plans. Verily, nature's plan only works as long as we are in the personality. The plan relating to our karma comes to us. According to the plan, the nature brings us our work, what partner and how many children to have, how much to do for our job, etc. We are born where we can gather the experiences we need for our development as per the goal of our life. We should not get enchained by the things we have built on the physical plan, otherwise, we will get imprisoned by them. We should not generally carry the idea to do good work or the other, but wait until our task comes to us. We should not teach and heal unasked. The persons who are able to serve through us will come to us and seek our service. If we wait and only pick up where we see our obligation, we can trust nature, it brings us our plan. Expansion of consciousness. The word initiation has been given different meanings. For many, it means a ceremony performed for a special purpose. In earlier times, for example, a student approached the teacher with some fruits and flowers and sought to be initiated after hearing done to him a lot of service. When the teacher was pleased with the student, he gave him a holy word which was spoken softly in the ear. The student had to keep it in a great secrecy and repeat it internally. The initiation took place on an individual basis. With the advent of the Aquarian age, the hierarchy found this too slow and replaced it with group initiations which are more focused on the essentials. Formalities are omitted. Instead of the former a close relationship between teacher and student, the teacher today gives the knowledge to groups and thus everyone can receive his own instructions through a group of contact. It is not a mysterious event but an expansion of consciousness. Stimulation of the consciousness to accelerate the development. This acceleration is made possibly by the Aquarian energy coming through Uranus. It lifts up the humanity from the mundane to the super mundane plans of consciousness so that the illusion of death is erased. Initiation means expansion of consciousness through a process of diving deep inside. The word initiation itself means to enter into. It is an entry into the original consciousness from where we started. Every initiation is an unfoldment into the light that we are in our essence. It is a process of making the soul within a radiant more. To do this, who have to enter ourselves and begin the inner journey. However, we cannot enter the subjective world with the objective mind. The subjective mind is born at the first initiation. The first initiation is the touch of the divine, the birth of the consciousness in man. This turns us slightly towards the divine. The first touch occurs without our knowledge. The second initiation marks the constant aspiration, the fire of intent. Here we live in objectively, but truly we develop within ourselves a second channel of awareness, whereby the subjective mind becomes active with the wisdom referring to the experienced buddhi. At this stage, we often return home into our inner and conduct our exercise there. The initiation is nothing but a sequential entering into inner chambers of one after the other, thereby realizing the original state of the being. The mundane chamber is the solar plexity. The next immense chamber is the heart. We have to enter this chamber of the heart to us, and where we hear the sound that resounds in the heart center. If we cannot contact the sources of our being, outside exercises and players do not help. By nature, we have our residence in the highest chamber in our being, which is the ajna. When we meditate with all attention on the outer heart, on the inner heart, and on the ajna, the life force also slowly moves in that direction. This is the entrance to the third imitation. What we call the third imitation is, according to Eastern understanding, the first initiation into the realm of light. It is nothing but entering the Buddhic plan, the experience of immortality. Further work begins then. If we align our beings to the being, then the work of the being happens through our being. This is the status of an institute. His quality is to be, but not to be, to do. He allows himself to be a channel for the divine plan to manifest. The will individual attunes to the will divine, and consequently the will divine functions through the individual will. Father, you will be done. We should align to that even while we are in the quality. This is a mere proactive that does not require intellectual acrobatics. We also do not or have to be very fit physically or have a lot of knowledge and literary erudition. Many imitations have not gone through schools or universities. Wisdom is simple and straight. It does not require mundane faculties, but only an adulteration or attentive mind, which is God, given if we do not destroy it. The masters of wisdom taught that humans evolved cosmically on earth through 7 immense periods of time called rounds. And on this subject, Master Kutumni explained that first round. In the first round, man is a ethereal being, not too intellectual or intelligent, but super spiritual. And in echo, in each of the subsequent races, roots, sub races, and minor races through which he passes, he develops more and more into a baxed or incarnated idea, although he is still preponderantly ethereal, and like the animal and vegetable in this round, man develops monstrous bodies in correspondence with the chorism of environment. Second round. Man is still gigantic and ethereal, but his body becomes increasingly firm and condensed. He becomes more physical man, though still less intelligent than spiritual, because the evolution of the mind is slower and more difficult than that of only the physical structure, and the mind does not develop as rapidly as the body. Third round. Now man has a perfect chocolate and compact body at first, with the folds of giant ape, and he is the same more intelligent than spiritual. Because in the descending arc, he has now reached the point where his predominant spirituality has been eclipsed or dominated by his nascent mentality, and in the last half of this third round has gigantic structure of decreases, his body improves, his interest around how it will be, this round described well. The fourth round. This is the current round, and in this round the intellect has a huge development. The mute races will acquire human speech and human nature. Moreover, the mute races will acquire human speech in our globe, starting from to the south, from race to race. Language is perfected, and the knowledge of physical thoroughly increases. The world is full of the results of the intellectual activity and Vicent area, the spiritual decline. In the first half of the fourth race route, sciences, art, literature, and philosophy were born, and being eclipsed in one action, they were reborn in other. Fifth round. Man acquires wisdom. His mind is fully developed, and his mind becomes an independent individual, and the man finally manages to control his inner animation nature. Sixth round. The man attains full enlightenment, spirituality, surpasses the intellect, and he frees himself from the bonds of matter. Seventh round. Man becomes a man God, his spirituality and his powers and fully developed. The journey of the initiations. When we are leather bothered about what happens to us tomorrow, but feel good about doing something and helps others, them we have stepped through the gate of the first initiation. Then the subjective mind awakens. With the first initiation, we no longer identify with the body schools, but realize ourselves as mental beings who can think, act, and plan. Later, an understanding develops where all thinking and planning has to be aligned to a higher pattern which is already existing. A large part of the humanity is beginning to experience soul awareness, which is developed step by step from personality to soul by closing our eyes and watching the inner inspiration. The respiration and the pulsation are always there. Our intuitive desire to follow them leads us to the subtle pulsation. Shiyakantaya Kalyana Nidena Dedanam Shri Venkatavasaya Srinivasaya Mangalam Mangalasasana Acharya Purogami Sarvaescha Purvaya Acharya Sadhutaya Mangalam.